In this tutorial, we're going to look at how we can manage the vector visualization in ArcMap. We're going to particularly focus on the use of what we call Symbology, and it's a way that we can change points, lines and polygons to have different looks and visualizations than they would when we first import them. We're going to work with the OpenStreetMap Anglesey data as we had before. I just download this to my computer. And I'll copy it to a known location on my hard drive. I'm just going to change the name of the folder so I can easily find the files. That's good practice to make sure that you have a good naming convention and a well organized file structure. I'll just double check to see if my files have downloaded correctly. They have. Okay, so opening up a blank GIS, so working from the previous one, if you're coming from session 2, vector data, we're just going to connect to our folder in catalog. And we're going to locate 3 files. We're going to drag coastline, because we want a coastline base map that will allow us to provide some spatial context to our other layers, places, so we've got cities, villages and so on, and roads, so we can demonstrate the road network within the area. When you first import data, you'll notice that Arc will provide some default color, some default feature symbols or feature classes to the display. And they're often not the best that they could be. So we're going to change this, focusing on our Symbology tool. Okay, so we have here in the left hand side of the display table of contents, and we can see that places which are maroon color, and we can see here the roads are green in the table of contents, and the coastline is a light sky blue color, and we see that here. So we can see what visualization is on the display, and we can link up the legend between the table of contents and the main display. What we're going to do here is there's 2 main ways of changing how a feature looks. The first way is the quickest, and all we're going to do is just double click on the symbol in the table of contents to bring up a symbol selector. And the symbol selector has 2 main ways of changing the symbol. One, we can use a default symbol, for example airplanes, highways, route numbers and so on. Or we can change it manually using the current symbol options to the right hand side of the symbol selector. All we're going to do is just select circle 1 for now and just click OK. So we can see we've changed the display. However, the symbols are really large. Let's zoom in a little bit into the Bangor Menai Bridge area, and you can see that the symbols scale with the display. We're going again. So once again, have scale with the display. So on occasion, what we need to do is we need to change the size of the symbol to give us a half decent visualization as we're working, just putting it together. So I'm just going to change this symbol size here to 10. So that we can now work with it a little bit better. I'm also going to change the coastline layer to a custom style. I'm going to use a grey of 60%. I'm going to use a line width of 2. Here we can clearly see the coastline now. And I'm going to change the roads to a light grey coloration, 40%, with a line width of 1. So now we're starting to get a little clearer in our visualization. And we've just done that just by utilizing the tools on the table of contents area there. The next step is to utilize a more powerful way of working with the visualization, which is to utilize the Symbology tab, and it's actually a Symbology tool, which is part of the layer properties. But first, I'm just going to take you through how we can actually use that and why. And we're going to look at attribute tables. So each one of these points has some values associated with it. A place name, a population for example, a type. And we can access that by right clicking on the layer name and clicking Open Attribute Table. And that gives us a list of data. You can see we've got 411 points in our data set. We've got fields here that provide different types of data. So if we highlight a single point just by clicking on the side here, so you can see that Burma iris here has been highlighted on our display. And we can change this as we work our way through the data. So Pentraith, Llangefni. Okay, so each point has attributes associated with it, which are accessed through the Open Attribute Table by right clicking on the layer name and Open Attribute Table. So we're going to use that data, particularly the type field, to change the color of our points to reflect the different types that we have in our data set. And we do this by right clicking again on our layer name and going to Properties. It brings up this rather complex layer property display. We've got lots and lots of options along the top. We're only interested in Symbology for now. In future sessions we'll look at the different ones and what we can do with them. You can see immediately we open up in the Features single symbol, which is what we've been manipulating so far. But this time we're more interested in trying to display categories of data based on a field. All we're going to do here is just change our categories. Clicking on this area changes it to categories option. You can see that we get some help through our categories using unique values of one field. Some examples down below. You can switch through. You can see how we can work with numeric data, for example. We're interested here in categories, and we're going to utilize the unique values, the first one option that we have once we've clicked categories. And we're going to work our way methodically through. The first thing we need to change is value field. We're going to change that to type. Okay, nothing really happens. If you wish, you can change the color ramp to anything else you wish. What we're going to do now is we're going to add in values. So I'm just going to use this button here, add our values in to the display. And you can see that we've got some useful information. The count of each field is a unique record, these two. We've got 38 farms, 138 hamlets coming through. Let's just click OK and see what happens. So we can see that our data is demonstrating some enhanced visualization now. So we can start to see some patterns appearing of some clusters of where places are. So that is just one way of changing and using the power of the GIS to demonstrate patterns within our data. So what we're going to do is just going to take it a little bit further now. This is step 5 in my worksheet. So you may want to stop now watching just so that you can have a go yourself at doing some example options. So in step 5 in the worksheet, what I wanted students to have a go at is altering the roads layer to just highlight the primary roads throughout Anglesey and North Wales, and they are known in the roads attribute table as primary, trunk and trunk link, and there's ways that we can just work with those to just highlight them ones and see what they look like. Also, I want a student to change their visualization to focus on 3 types of place: cities, towns and villages, just 3, so that we can see those ones, and to omit the other ones, localities, neighbourhoods and so on, hamlets, islands. We just omit those, just focus on those 3, cities, towns and villages. So if you're still watching, then what we're going to do is I'm going to just take you through very quickly how to do it and some quick workarounds. So the first thing I'm going to do is work on the road dataset. So right click, Properties, Categories, and I'm going to change to Type. You see here we can add all values if we wished, but that's just going to add quite a lot of options. If I just put that on, you can see we've got quite a lot of options. To remove those would take quite some time. All we're going to do is just click Add Values. I'm going to locate what I need, and I'm going to use Control button on my keyboard to select multiple options. These are the 3 options that I want to select, and click OK. And that's what it's going to add here, 3 different colors. I don't want 3 different colors, I want them to be 1. So I'm just going to select all of these, right click, click Group Values. So now they're all under one type. I'm going to change this to a light blue colour. I'm going to give it a line width of 3. Turn off this checkbox here will turn off all of the routes. If I just leave that on for now, you see that all of the routes are still present, and we're just highlighting the primary words. I'm going to change the colour of all of the routes to a lighter grey so it fades slightly into the background. The next step is to change the visualisation of the places layer. So right click again, properties. I'm going to remove our values as I did before, add values back in. I'm going to add city, town and village. And I'm going to change these now to be a slightly larger icon. For city, maybe size 10. I'm going to go size 7 for town, and I'm going to leave it at size 4 for village. And click. Turn off all of the values because we don't want to see those in this visualization. Click OK. So here we go, highlighting the major towns, which we can see throughout the North Wales and Anglesey area. We've got the main villages. We've got the routes that are going through, including the roads. We can really see now a really clear visualization in ArcGIS. Hopefully that's helped. Remember, you can go forward to back, look at the worksheet, download the data from the website at any time.